It's in Psalms chapter 25, verses 4 and 5. If you're willing and able to stand and read God's word. It says, "Show me thy ways, O Lord. Teach me thy paths. Lead me in thy truth, and teach me. For thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all the day." Y'all be seated. I kind of got thinking, just the Lord's path and looking for the Lord's way. And that's what I always thought, the evil doesn't desire the knowledge of his ways. That's what I think of Proverbs 1:7, the fear of the Lord is. See, I'm bad with that. I apologize. But, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. It takes me a minute, so I told my class, I don't remember where it's at. I don't always remember the address too well. I think that's something I got to work on as well. But the good man and the godly person acknowledges God in everything and commits to his guidance. That's why I got to think about it. There's a couple of points of just the prayer here, just a prayer of providence. It's not always something we'll understand God's way or understand God's path. That's what he says. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. His ways are higher than our ways. There's a lot of things, especially with the current things going on with our church, that I don't understand. I'm going to admit it. I don't understand it. Yeah.
Right.
Thank the Lord. I know what it is.
Amen.
The not finite mind can't wrap around everything that's going on. I know he does. But not only the providence, but I think about it. Not only the path of providence, but also the path of grace. We know that grace is for a child of God. That's the way of happiness. It's a way of hope. It's a way of holiness as well. That's what God always said. He said, "My grace is sufficient for thee." That same grace is here with us. Yeah. There good or wrong. It's all in this world.
Amen.
Wherever our missionaries are ones that's out and about and everything else, that grace, that same grace that's here in Little Sandy Baptist Church this morning, is that same grace that he's got the whole world in his hand.
Amen.
That's why I love those little kids' songs. Makes a lot of truth, a lot of godliness in those just something we teach a little child growing up of this, all that, how he talks about they're all precious in his sight, and he's got the whole world in his hands. There's a lot of biblical truth in those songs, which seems, well, it was just simple. Hey, it is simple. But all of that, also the path of duty as well, the providence and grace it brings, but also a duty. And I always think back, what Paul or Saul at that time said when the Lord come to him on the road to Damascus. "Lord, what will I have you do?" That's the first thing he said. His response to the Lord. When they said that light shined right about him, Lord told him it's hard for you to kick against the bricks. He didn't say, he didn't discuss, well, hey, I really was doing this and I thought I was doing right. He said, "No, Lord, what will I have you do?" He didn't argue, he didn't dispute the point. He realized who he was and where he was and who God was. And that's what I thought about this. And David here, I guess, it says a Psalm of David. He's been ascribed much of the book of Psalms with just his prayer here of divine teaching. No doubt we know David's life was filled with much good and much bad. So a lot of it self-inflicted, I guess you would say. But he learned from that. And hey, even God said it, the testimony for all the failures David had, he still was a man after God's own heart, the Bible says. That's something and that's us. If anybody ever failed here, I have. I'll say I have failed and I've made mistakes. But that's something we can still have through all of our failures and trials and everything else of seeking after God with our whole heart. And that's what stood out to me. He said it twice in there. He said, "Lord, teach me." And that's something I think we can learn from. That's what I thought, man, that's an admission. That's something that sometimes pride won't always have, an admission of my own personal worldly ignorance. Because we are, and that's what it's I guess the study, that's what it's talking about, studying to show thyself approved unto God, working to be, not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. But in my own power, in my own mind, I am ignorant. But not only the ignorance, but also of our insufficiency, of not being able to know what I was going, not being able to know how everything's going to end. I guess that's why God always gives us that lamp under our feet. He don't show me what's going to happen 5, 10, or 50 years down the road. It's that lamp, boy, so you take the next step, trusting in Him. Just take the next step, trust in Him. anxiety, I guess a lot of times we'll worry and care, said with in all things by prayer and supplication, may your request be made known unto the Lord. That's what had happened. Because we all worry and have different cares, whether it be for lost loved ones, lost children, for our pastor, and for our lost co-workers. I know everybody knows somebody that's lost. Amen. And also, in the application to the right source of this, let the request be made known unto the Lord. There ain't no other God we ever pray to that's alive and never hear or answer your request.
Amen.
That's like when think it was Elijah told him, hey, let Baal, handle the, hey, you call out to him. He said, hey, if Baal's real, let Baal fight for Baal. But hey,
That's right.
he was a dead God, dude. That's right. Then couldn't answer a prayer. And that's what the last words I want to finish with is Psalms chapter 3, Philippians chapter 3. It's a pretty common verse. There in verse 13 it says, brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended. But this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. Lord, teach me, hey, don't worry about what yesterday was. Just keep on pressing for the Lord, or what today. Don't think today might be the last day. We might not ever make it to Sunday school. The Lord may come up and call us on. But either way, if we get another day, hey, Lord, just teach me. What would you have me to know? That's what I think the best advice, and I've shared that a lot. I got it from Ken Myers a while back. So I was trying to read through and study and trying to read through the Bible in a year. And that's good, but my mind, I don't take it all in. I was reading quantity and wasn't getting a lot of quality out of it. It's like going and eating a buffet and eating about 5 plates of food. You took a whole bunch in, but hey, how much of that you actually tasted instead of just sucking it in like a Hoover vacuum, you don't get a whole lot of it. But hey, he said, hey, take them 4 or 5 verses and read over. He said, go back and read over again tomorrow. Read over again the next day. Read over again the next day. He could keep on and ask the Lord to show you something out of that. He said, I guarantee you he will. That'd be the thing. The Lord just teach me. Show me something that I didn't already know yesterday. Teach me something again tomorrow, Lord. I think that's what I said. The Lord's dealing with me to show me something out of that, and I want to share it because that's a powerful thing with this. Hey, that's not being comfortable and complacent. Well, man, I already know a pretty good bit. No, Lord, show me and teach me something new today.
Amen.
I appreciate y'all